guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Monique and welcome to my channel. So if you were able to see my video yesterday, I talked briefly about a gig job that I worked about 1.5 years ago, and I got a request to do a little bit more in depth about that gig app. So I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and do a video about that. So the app that I used is called Reflex. So what Reflex is an app that they partner with different retail stores when they need last minute coverage or if they need just any kind of retail help. So you don't actually work for the store, you work for Reflex, but you get to work in those stores. It's a really cool app, especially if you want to have some extra money, because it pays. When I started, they started you out, I want to say like between maybe like $16 or $17 an hour, and then there was bonuses, and the bonuses could be like an extra $15, an extra $20. I even seen one like an extra $50. Most of the shifts are at least a minimum of a 4-hour shift, so you're not there a whole day, which is good because it frees up your day. So a typical shift could be like a morning shift. I think I used to come in at 10, depending on what store I worked at. So you could do an opening shift from like 10 to like 4 or 10 to 3. And then you could do like a mid shift, where I did like a mid shift from like 12 to like 4 or 5. And then you did a closing shift, which I think was like 4 to 8. I don't know if I ever worked like a full 8-hour shift. I think they are available. I can't tell you if I did. If I did, I'll put some screenshots in here of my actual profile so you can see it if I ever worked a full 8-hour shift. But yeah, it's a really cool app, especially if you want to make extra money or if you wanted to get into the retail space. You can really build your resume because you can put on there that you worked at these stores. So some of the stores that you get to work at really depends on the area that you live in. I'm near a bunch of different malls and a bunch of different outlet malls. So there are a lot of stores that I can work at. And there are some stores that I tend to work at more than others based upon the work that you're going to have to do. So I've worked at MCM, which I love working at MCM because it's luxury retail, and I'm more so into luxury retail than I am into like regular retail. And you'll see the difference. It's really good if you want to build your resume in luxury retail because it gives you a way in without like having to go there and apply at the company, which could be pretty time consuming. If you want to build your resume, it's a great way to build your resume in the luxury retail world, especially if you're in a market where they have some of those clients. So some of the more higher end stores that I worked at was MCM. I worked at Golden Goose, which was really cool. I like the team there. It was a great experience. I've worked for Marc Jacobs. Where else? A company called Roan. It's like an athletic wear company. I did this like local kids store only a couple times. I was afraid to do it because I'm like, I don't know, that's not really my field when it comes to retail, is working at a kids store. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but I did work there a few times and it was super simple. But it was your traditional retail store. So with that, it's gonna come with doing the fitting room, doing go bags, steaming merchandise. When you do that kind of regular retail world, you're gonna be doing mostly those kind of activities. If you're in the luxury retail world, they have their set sales associates or SAs. They have them, so you're not really doing that kind of work. You don't really do sales. I know I didn't do sales when I was in the more higher end stores. You more so do greeting, or you can help if they're having an event and they need packaging, so you could just help with like the packaging. They just have that extra support that they need without having to go and get a whole nother employee because it's just for a temporary time. So I worked there. One thing that is also really cool about it is depending on what store you work at, that day that you work, you do get a discount at that store. So you wouldn't typically be able to get a discount at like Marc Jacobs or any of these other places. But depending on what store it is, you do get a discount at that store. And sometimes it's a really good discount. Especially if you say you want to get something from that particular brand or that particular store, just pick up a gig. If they have one, you can pick up a gig and then you will get the discount when you work. So that's really cool about that. And you also get to network and meet a lot of different people in the retail world. So if you want to actually get your way into retail, it's a perfect thing to do because you're building your resume. You're also networking with a bunch of different people in the retail space, and you do have access to some of those more higher end stores, which could be harder to get into a store, especially like MCM or Golden Goose, one of those high end stores. Those could be a harder store to get into, just applying, especially when you don't have any experience, versus if you started on like this platform, you kind of built yourself up. So it's a good thing for that as well. Also, it does, every time you pick up a job, I'll show it, I'll put some clips in there, but when you pick up a job, it'll come up and it'll say, okay, your time that you're working, it'll have the address where you need to be. And it also has a little brands card that tells you a little bit about the brand. So say you don't know much about the brand, you can read over that. You can learn a little bit more about the brand, so you'll be more knowledgeable when you go in there. And it also tells you how to be brand appropriate and look on brand when you go in there. So they'll tell you exactly what you need to wear when you show up, which is good because you are building, if you want to build yourself to go into retail, you are building the wardrobe that you would need if you go into more of a higher end retail store. It's gonna be your simple black, all black. You can't go wrong with all black. And even if now things are changing a bit, so not everywhere you can wear sneakers, but if you have like a black leather sneaker, you can tend to get away with that. So if you're just starting out and you say, okay, I want to join this app, you're gonna definitely need like a pair of black slacks, a black belt, and a black shirt. It could even be a t-shirt. You know how you have like a fitted t-shirt, but if you have a fitted t-shirt, some slacks on, and a black belt with black leather sneakers, it looks more put together and more polished than if you just had on a regular t-shirt and like maybe like leggings. So you don't want to wear anything like that. You want to be more on the dressed up side, and that's really going to help because now you're presenting yourself and you look like you belong with the brand. So it's a good thing to do that if you want to build your brand as well. Also, they have a referral program. So you get like a special code. So when you start and you refer somebody, you can refer them and give them that code. And when they do, I think their third flex, they call it a flex. When they do their third flex, you can get a referral like bonus for that. And I referred one of my friends, so she was able to get a referral bonus for that. So it's a really cool app. They don't have jobs all the time. The jobs really start to increase when there's more of a demand for help, and that's going to be anytime around a holiday, or around the busy season, which is going to be the winter months. Those months you're going to have flexes back to back. I remember there was times where, because you don't work a full 8-hour shift, that I was in the mall and I would be at one store from maybe like 12 to 4, and then I would pick up another Reflex in another store from like 4 to 8. So it's a potential, especially during the winter months, that you can do really well. I also met a girl who, she came from another market. She was in, I think she said she came from Vegas. She was in Vegas and she moved down here and she did not have a job. So all she did was Reflex. And she said that like in Vegas, the market for Reflex was really big. They had a lot of accounts. So all she did was Reflex. And I think she said she ended up working, she did like Skechers. I saw Skechers like one time. But like I said, I tend to go to the higher end department stores. So I did not do Skechers, but she said she did Skechers and she loved it. She loved the team working there. And it's cool because, yeah, you are in retail. You don't have to have those same retail hours like if you worked at the store, but you do get the experience and you do get a discount when you work there. So it's like a win-win. And you can pick up shifts when you want to. So it's good because you can work around your schedule. It's not like you have to be there at a certain time. It's just you have to be there when you say you're going to pick up a shift. They do have like a criteria, so you can advance in the app where you get more flexes are sent your way when you do a good job. After your reflex, the manager will put some notes in your account and let you know like how you did, and it's really nice to see those, like, you know, they were a go-getter, a hustler, great with like the fitting rooms, and I think they did some like showed up in uniform, because that's a thing too. So you want to make sure that you keep your status in good standing by making sure you show up on time, you show up in your uniform, and you're doing your job properly. But other than that, it's a really cool app. I'll put a link at the bottom, so if you're interested in it, you could sign up for it. I want to say the whole process from signing up to actually getting a gig, I want to say was maybe like 2 to 3 days. So it's a relatively fast thing. So if you need to make some extra cash really fast, you're in a high demand market, and I believe you could pass that background check, because I want to say you do have to do a background check. You could do that. You could go ahead and sign up, and the money can go directly into your account. It's not one of those things where you have to have like a PayPal or a Venmo. No, it could be arch deposit right into your bank account, just like you would in any direct deposit. So yeah, it's really fast. I seen one came up today at Michael Kors. I never worked at Michael Kors, but it had me thinking that I did want to go, because the discount that you can get when you pick up a gig there is crazy. So I may pick up a Reflex in the next couple weeks if they have one, because there is a couple things from Michael Kors that I do want to get. So yeah, I might as well pick up a flex and, you know, get that extra discount on some of those things that I want. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this video. If you like this kind of thing, I could definitely do another review of some of the other gigs that I work, because like I said, it was for about 2.5 years. I did not have a full-time job. I just did like side hustles or side gigs, and this was one of them that I did. So if you want to know more about some different side hustles that I did, or that I'm doing too, because now I'm in a season where I'm doing those a little bit more now, I would love to do another video for you. So till next time, thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe. See you.